What's going on, guys? It's DJ Cool, and in today's video I'm going to break down how to make drill 808s and 808 slides. Alright, so before I started recording I made this quick beat. I just took a drum loop, I made some chords and then bounced them out as a audio file, and I put a kick in, and I'm just going to kind of play what I made for you guys. Alright, so that's what we're working with so far. The chords, as I said, I put them into key zone and I bounced it out. It's E, it goes B, it goes A, and then it goes B. So that's all we need to know to do the 808s. So let's come back here. So before you start putting in the physical 808s in the slides, you got to make sure you have a good 808. Normally you don't really want like a crazy kind of super distorted Ronnie J 808. I mean, if you want to experiment and do your own kind of style, go ahead. Like, I don't really hear those kind of 808s in drill. You want to get like a drill 808, like a dedicated one. And there's a lot of great free drill drum kits online. I've mentioned before in some of my past videos, you can get really good ones on Reddit for free. And that's where I get all my drums. I got them from Reddit. I'm gonna keep it real. So I found a lot of good drums in there, and I haven't paid for them. So that's all I'm gonna say. I've already routed everything to a mixer track, and I picked this drill 808 here. But we gotta do some like modifications to it in here to get it ready to be sliding. So not all the 808s that you'll work with are gonna need to be, you know, on time stretched and turn the loop points off, but this one did. So make sure that this is down and this is not checked on. And then you're gonna want to come over here to the envelope tab, and you're going to want to turn everything down except the hold. That way, when I play the note and let go, it immediately stops. And this works well because you don't want like all these notes lingering and mixing with your slides and getting all meshed and sounding really ugly and dirty. So make sure you know you got that. And now we're ready to go in and do the slides. When I'm working with loops and sometimes my own melodies that I make, I like to go in and put like placeholder notes in, so I know, you know, what notes are gonna hit where. So let's come into the drill 808, and I know my first chord's E. I'm gonna put an E in here, and then I know my second chord's B. I'm gonna put a B here. I'll explain why I'm putting it here as opposed to right on the beginning of the phrase later. Then there's A. I'll put an A here, and then there's B, and it just repeats. So I'm just gonna loan that there. Okay, so you might be wondering, why do I have one note on the beginning of the phrase, then on the last two bars here, or the last two notes here? So the reason for that is, oh, I messed up here. So I have my notes put in, I fixed this one here. Now we're ready to do our slides now. But you might be wondering, why do I have this one here as opposed to, you know, right in the beginning of the phrase, like right here? And that's because I always like to put my placeholder notes in when the kick's gonna hit, because I always like to have an 808 on when the kick hits. So like the kick hits here, or the snare here, and the kick also hits here. And actually for this pattern, the kick will go hit here and it'll also hit here. So something that you can do, and I hear in some drill songs and I do myself, is when you have a kick hitting on this note, you can add a second 808 in. You can even pitch it up or something. But in general, you don't want to have any 808 slides in the first phrase. It just doesn't sound, you know, right. It doesn't fit drill, because a lot of the bounce of drill is just the lack of, you know, bass and kick. Like, in this section, it kind of gives it its unique bounce. Okay, I've talked for long enough. Let's do some drill slides. So you can really like do drill slides in a variety of different ways. It really depends on the vibe you're going for and the vibe of the track. So I'm gonna just kind of do a bunch of different type of slides, and I'll explain them to you while I'm doing it. Alright, so I've chopped this up how I want it. I'm gonna go in up here to slide, and I'll start putting in my slide here. Okay, so there's many ways you can do your slides, and the two I like to do is I make individual notes starting at the root note, you know, like the lowest note of the bass before the bass sounds really ugly and really deep. And you can make the slides slide from there each time. It'll always sound like it's sliding from this root note up to your higher octave. And another slide that sounds good, you know, in bass, you can put it to the 5 of the chord. So this chord's B minor, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 5 would be F sharp. So, you know, we can have it go up an octave or two and slide up to here, and then we can have it slide back down to this lower F sharp, which is the 5 of the chord. Alright, so we have the sliding from the root note in, and now you can do just a continuous kind of slide. So you can slide it up and then slide it back down, so it'll go up to this B, this higher B, and then it'll slide from there down, as opposed to sliding up and then sliding up again. So I'm gonna play what I did here so you guys can hear the difference. Alright, I gotta turn that 808 down. I just realized it's a little loud. So yeah, that is definitely peaking. Another thing you gotta do, turn your 808s down. Coming back, I'm gonna go into this second 2-bar segment here. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did here. And add that note when the kick hits. And we'll come back over here. And let's get a little fancier with the slides this time. So some other kind of slides that you can do is you don't need to connect them all. And this, you know, gives it some kind of unique flair, unique kind of bounce. Because there's a gap in between and it kind of stutters a little bit. So I'll just kind of add 2 octaves up, and then 1 octave up. And just an FYI, you can adjust the slide time by dragging this note out here, the one that you set on slide. And, you know, the longer you drag it, the longer it's going to take to go up there. So, you know, I'm going to shorten it up because these notes are a little shorter. And then I'll grab another, we'll do some more of these kind of connected notes, and then finish it out with a quarter note here. So you can have it slide back down. Then let's go up to the 5th. Alright, that looks like it's gonna be good. So I'm gonna go over it and we'll play this part here. So you hear how it kind of sounds different when you cut the note a little shorter. It sounds, you know, a little more choppy, a little more stuttery, and that can be really useful depending on the bounce you're going for. Alright, let's move on to this next 2-bar segment here. I'm going to do what I did before, as I've been doing this whole time, and add the note when the kick hits. And then I'm going to come over, and I'll keep it simple for this one. I like to do a simple, you know, a little more complex, you know, adding a little more notes than simple, and then the most complex on the in the 8th measure here. I'll just go 2 bars up and then 1 bar up, and I'll play what I just did. Alright, so, you know, we got some decent sounding slides in here. I'm gonna add this note in here. You know, maybe we can actually make these slides a little longer. I'll make them a little more substance to them. Alright, so for this last one here, I'm gonna tell you guys about something I hear in, you know, some drill songs that I think is really cool. And what that is they will actually shorten the notes, you know, or sometimes keep them longer. And they'll actually pan them from your left ear to your right ear. Like that. And when you add the slides in, you gotta make sure you pan those too. So, you know, let's do 2 measure or 2 octaves up the 5th. Shorten that a little bit because I'm shortening the note. and make sure you pan the slides as well. Because as you saw, if I take it from here, put it in there, it's not going to be panned, it's just going to slide up, and it's going to be in the middle again. So you want to make sure you pan the slides as well. What I'm going to do is actually add in some shorter notes to kind of give it some bounce. This is a thing I like to do. I don't hear it in tons of drill songs, but they add like a series, kind of like an 808 roll almost. Get rid of that for now. I can't be bothered to cut it. Just kind of like an 808 roll. Make sure I should probably grab a note from over here so it's not panned. And what I like to do with these 808 rolls is I like to have them on the root note, you know, the lowest it can go without sounding super distorted. And then what I'll do is I'll grab a slide and I'll just slide it back up after the roll finishes. And that usually makes it sound, you know, it gives it a pretty cool effect, makes it sound good. And then let's just bring it back down to end. Or, no, let's do a continuous slide. I'll go down to the 5th, and then right back down to where it starts. And I'm going to play this for you guys so you can hear it. I'm going to play the entire sequence that I just put in here, the entire pattern, and, you know, we can just see how it turned out. Alright, so that's actually sounding really good. I think today we really took a great dive into looking at these drill 808s. If you guys learned something, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that jazz. It boosts the YouTube algorithm, helps more people see content, you know, that might want to see it and need to see it. And if you guys want to get inspired, hit the link in the description for my email list, and as soon as you sign up for that, you'll get sent 5 free loops for absolutely free. Yeah, as I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys later.